and welcome to this very special edition of the Sales Step Up. Now, if you've been following the Sales Step Up, you will know that we normally have been coming around about once every 2 weeks. So this is an extra special edition because I really wanted to come on today to talk all about something really special that I'm involved with, which is a lot of abbreviations, and it's EMCON with DBOP. So there's a lot that we need to unpack there, just even on the abbreviations. So if you're joining us today, come and say a big hello. It's great to see a few people coming online already. So do say hello in the comments. It would be lovely to hear from you if you are watching. And remember, if you've got any questions for my special guests, you do get the opportunity to ask them as well. So drop those straight in the comments. Here we go. Yeah, I can see Michael has already been sharing and posting about this. So fingers crossed, Michael will get the chance to pop along and join us a bit later in the show. Okay, so let's get straight on with it. Let's start have a bit of a chat about events and how they can work for you. So I'm going to bring in my special guests now, which is Lisa and Ben. So hi to both of you.
Hi, Victoria. Hello. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Hi there. So I did mention at the very beginning, we've got a lot of abbreviations going on. So I think we should deal with the abbreviations first, because I've put them in the notes at the bottom, but everyone's going to want to know what that's all about before we start to get started on the big topic, which is being an exhibitionist. I thought that was a good line to put in here. So I don't know, Ben, if many people at the events in the past referred to themselves as exhibitionists.
Well, I think many would call me that. I don't know for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons, but yeah, I mean, hey, it's great. We can get to the 800-900 people through on the day, all who are just eager to meet people. And I don't think we've ever been in a time where people are as desperate to see people face to face as they are now. So we're certainly seeing a real appetite for a number of exhibitionists to turn up on the day.
Lots of exhibitionists. And of course, we haven't really fully introduced you. So seeing how I'm talking to you, we will introduce you properly first, Ben, and then we'll come back to yourself, Lisa. Because Ben, you run EMCON. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and like how it came to be, really?
Of course, yeah. So I'm the operations director for an organization called the Engineering Manufacturing Network. We're only 5 years old and we represent the cross sector of engineering. So it doesn't matter what you make. If you make something, it could be food, it could be digital, it could be heavy engineering, it could be for the automotive industry, whatever it is, we work with those businesses to support them. So historically in the Northeast, there was an event called Oktoberfest, which involved neither lederhosen nor beer. It was
disappointingly, maybe
very disappointingly for those who turned up on that premise. An interesting event, and it was put on by 3 old Northeastern engineering networks. And it was just an exhibition. It was a show for engineering businesses. The whys and wherefores of how it became Oktoberfest are kind of lost in urban legend a little bit. We became involved about 6 years ago when we formed this new entity, and actually we took on Oktoberfest as it was, and we renamed it EMCON. So EMCON is simply Engineering and Manufacturing Conference or Convention. You can give it whichever suffix you would like. And it brings together about 100 exhibitors, varying depending on how much floor space they require. So the 900 would love to break the 1,000, but we've always just teetered underneath, sort of around about the 920s, 930s of visitors on the day. And there's always been a conference element to it. So you've got the exhibition side and you've got a conference side with lots of breakout rooms and lots of interesting and interactive things going on the day.
And I think that's so important as well, because I think on events, people are looking for that varied experience now. They're looking to network, they're looking to, gain new knowledge, maybe from a speaker or something like that. They're looking to meet new suppliers. They're looking to work with other people who are in the industry. So I think having that blend's really good. I've been a few times actually, and there's always been a great buzz about the place. I know when I was talking to Kay, who you've actually came instead of, haven't you, Ben? Because Kay's not so well today. But I think, you know, I was normally talking to Kay, and she's like, we are going to smash that 1,000 this year. She's got big ambitions, hasn't she?
Well, it's staggering, you know. I mean, as a board, obviously last year we couldn't deliver the show. We did deliver the conference element of it in October last year, but we couldn't deliver the show. And then when things started to look really positive this year, we thought, right, let's go for it. So we've set a date in September. I'm sure Lisa will tell you all about that in regards to the incubator stand. But we just thought, it was about the March time. We thought, look, let's go for it. We're hugely confident as a board that this is what people want. But of course, your fingers and your toes are crossed, because at the end of the day, we may be confident, nobody else might be. So it's a little bit of a punt, if we're honest. But honestly, the second we opened the doors, it was just like opening the floodgates. And we're actually, it's not what Lisa's going to talk about the incubator zone, but when it comes to the larger businesses exhibiting in the main hall, we've got literally a handful left. It is just sold out so quickly. It's been unbelievable. And I think that shows, one, a bit of business confidence. I think it shows an appetite on the basis that we couldn't go anywhere last year. I mean, we're, you know, compared to some of the big shows like Offshore, or some of the stuff that goes on at the NECC or Excel in London, we're not of that size, but businesses still have an appetite to come because it's more of a friendly feel network, very professionally put on, of course, but it's still got more of a friendly feel to it, and people just want to see people.
Oh, I get that. I'm just back out with clients, and I'm just really excited to see other human beings. I got really excited about meeting a stranger the other day. I don't think you meant to, but I did. I was just like, oh, it's someone I don't know. It's so exciting. Oh my goodness. And I mean, and Lisa, obviously you're from DBOP, and that stands for Durham Business Opportunities Program. Am I right?
It does. Yeah, that's right.
So tell us a little bit about that, and then how you've actually got involved with EMCON, because you guys are very heavily involved with the show, aren't you?
We are, yeah. The Durham Business Opportunities Programme was brought about really to connect businesses with opportunities. So that could be anything from grant funding, investment, digital support. So we work with existing business support organisations, signposting the businesses over to opportunities. But as well as that, the programme's a little bit different because we've got some funding to deliver some intensive support strands, which is sector specific. So working closely with Ben and EMCON, it was noted that there was a bit of a gap in the market for businesses who hadn't exhibited before. So, like I say, working with Ben, that's how the incubator zone was born, really, just to give business, you know, the smaller size of business the opportunity to get in there in a well-known exhibition, and to, you know, to be looked after, and just to have that opportunity to be there and to raise the profile of them businesses. So that is sort of, you know, one of the intensive strands of support that DBOP's working on at the moment.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I mean, and I'm very fortunate because obviously I'm working with you guys around that. And one of the things that I think has been so great to see about this actually has been that it's a real opportunity sometimes for people to attend their first event, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, we're aiming to target businesses who haven't exhibited before, who perhaps, you know, they want to test the water, they're not sure what it's all about. They're a little bit anxious, I suppose, about sort of, you know, getting in there and taking that step into the big stand. So the incubator zone, it's an ideal opportunity for businesses who haven't exhibited before, just to get in there and experience that. It's brilliant, yeah.
I think
what I've found... Go on.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, I think that's an interesting point there, because a lot of businesses are nervous. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who've got an appetite to go to an exhibition. They maybe go themselves, they've been to hundreds, but they think, I couldn't be the person that stands there and sells my business. The reality is, if you're the business owner, you're exactly the right person to do it. And you're not on your own. I mean, we've run the incubator zone now. We've done 3 rounds, I think, if Lisa...
We have, yeah.
So 3 rounds, and Lisa, and it's set as a separate village. Our entire team are there. So you're not on your own. I mean, you know, the businesses even do business with each other, with their neighbours on the day, which is great. But it's just got a nice feel to it. And I think there's also a bit of a buzz with the bigger businesses who want to see small businesses succeed.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to help. So, you know, the only time that anyone's ever sat at their own at the back of their stand playing on the mobile phone is if they make that absolute choice to do so themselves.
And if I don't see them, because if I see them this year, I'll be going and kicking them.
I know, so, you know, thankfully I've never seen an EMCON, but I've been to many shows over many years, and you know, you do see it, and then people wonder why on earth I had no success on the day. And it's, well, I can tell you, it's because you didn't take your eyes off your phone or off your laptop, whatever they're doing. But it's really interactive and incredibly friendly and relaxed.
And I think that when I've been there, I've always been really struck by the variety of businesses as well. You know, I think you've got, I think last time I was there was like these little, a stand had these little mechanical robot-y things. That was a technical term, obviously. You know, there's people with like, you know, innovative like bits of software that they're showing how can do projections and magic stuff like that. There's some more traditional manufacturing. I mean, it's a really good like mix. And I think what really comes through is actually the amount of innovation there is in the region, that maybe we don't always see all in one place at one time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, we've got not only in the incubator zone, but in the main hall itself, some of the businesses that we have are absolutely incredible. They really are, you know, and as you've said, there's lots of interaction there. You know, we'll try and keep it fun without, you know, we don't want people to come along and think that's just a show for toys, because it absolutely isn't. It's a show for business, but there's just so much opportunity there to engage with some great technology as well, and some great business people.
And I think that I think I'm right in saying, Lisa, when you've been involved in the incubator zone before, I think what's nice from sort of that group of people is that they actually quite often form their own little networky group as well, which I think is great, not only for support across the show, but of course, people who come on your program also get to join the engineering manufacturing network, which Ben, you're also involved with running, obviously. So I think the other thing is it's a really nice introduction to that as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. I mean, on the last incubator zone, the participants were sort of, like you say, creating their own little networks between themselves. So that was great to see. They were doing business on the day with themselves. You know, it was fantastic just to watch that, and for them to, you know, build those relationships and work together. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity for the networking side of things, and you know, just get in there.
Hey, you're more excited than anybody going to this at this rate, aren't you?
I love it. I really do. I just think there's such a buzz on the day, and you just meet so many people and so many different businesses, and it's just, yeah, and to see them sort of, you know, before the event and lacking in that confidence, and obviously, you know, working with yourself, Victoria, to bring that out of them, to give them that confidence, and then to just watch them go on the day, and then seeing how they've sort of developed and, you know, put everything into practice. It's just fantastic. I love it. It's great stuff.
And I think there's been some real success stories come out of there as well, haven't there?
Yeah, there has. I mean, I was with a business on, I think it was Tuesday this week, Orca Cleaning Services. They took part in the incubator zone in 2019. And they've come on leaps and bounds, absolutely fantastic. They've remarketed themselves, rebranded, they've taken on staff, they've, you know, just taken advantage of the opportunity itself and all the connections and everything that goes with that. So it was great to watch their growth story as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the nice things as well is that one of the things that the show offers is like exposure to a lot bigger businesses as well, because, and Ben, I think that the headline sponsor this year is Stadler again, isn't it? Who, of course, is one of the really big new investments in the Northeast, because they've just taken on, and they've just been doing the contract for the new metro trains, haven't they?
Yeah, they've taken on the Nexus maintenance and manufacture program, and I mean they've been with us now. This will be their 4th year. They came to us initially just to have a bit look around, and you know, they hadn't won the contract, but they were interested in obviously the region and learning more about the region, and they came along. And they absolutely loved it, and they've headline sponsored it now. I think this is the 4th time they've headlined
Wow.
stuff with it. And they absolutely love it. And do you know what it is? For a huge corporate team, they're just so down to earth. They want to learn what businesses do. They set up like a big sort of stand, plenty of space to go in, get to know them. It's obviously the local team now. It used to be an international team that came in and ran it, but now they've been awarded the contract. So this is the first year they've done it as a contract winner in the Northeast.
Right.
Desperately engaged with supply chain. But to be fair, the same can be said of so many of the other businesses that are there. You know, people are going to sell, people are going to buy. Where, you know, I look at it this way, I think that we can all invest a lot of time and effort in marketing and in sales. But where else can you go in one day where you've got the potential to meet 8, 9, hopefully 1,000 people? You know, with certainly 800 or 900 people in one go, literally right in the heart of one of the largest industrial parks in the northeast of England. It's almost money can't buy opportunity.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you've got that number of people there as well, I think it's about grabbing attention. And we mentioned some of like what people are doing on the stands earlier on. I mean, for both of you, what's been the most innovative approach you've seen? What crazy stuff have you seen people doing on their stands or in their space? And tell me all about that, because I really want to know.
Ben,
do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
You go. You might, yeah.
We've seen some great stuff over the years. I mean, it's you mentioned before, like the robot arms used for pick and place. We've seen some fantastic digital setups. We've seen a lot of augmented or reality or virtual reality as well on the show, but in a business application. So yeah, you know, it's having a bit fun. But so you can appreciate the benefits of the business. I think everyone brings their own bit of fun to it. I can remember there was a stand a couple of years ago, and it was nothing to do with what they did as a business, but they had this, it was a huge sweet trolley, pick and mix sweet trolley. So you can imagine that was the most popular stand at the show. Didn't matter what they did, they were the most popular stand at the show. But you know, there's a lot of opportunity, even on a small scale, to see what businesses do. Some of them will bring products, some of them will bring processes, where you can get it in within the confines of the space, of course. And I always think with, you know, you can travel around the UK, you can travel around the world with this, and it's remarkable some of the businesses that you can come across and what they do in the strangest of places. And there's nowhere stranger than the northeast of England. We've got some phenomenal businesses doing some amazing things, and the opportunity to see that showcased is fantastic, you know. So yeah, if you've got something fun to bring along, bring it along, and you'll have people around your stand. But if it's a technology, or if it's a process, or if it's actually something that you manufacture, there's plenty of appetite there to learn. People go to learn as well about what's available.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the VR. There was a VR headset the other year, and it was it totally spun my brain out a bit. But you could actually sort of do a walkthrough and pick up things and everything, and it was remarkable to actually have a go, like to be able to have a go of that, and you know, to be there with the company and just being able to ask a whole raft of questions. I think there was a virtual drone flying company there a few years ago. You could fly the drone in a virtual perspective. So that was quite interesting as well. I didn't have a go at that because I'm not very good with things like that. But yeah, we've seen all wonderful things. But Ben's right, you know, the quirky ones tend to get a lot of attention.
Yeah,
I think as well, the ability to get your hands on some of this technology as well. I mean, I think there's a real thing, you know, for a lot of this kind of stuff, you know, a picture on a website doesn't really convey it. It's not very exciting, is it? But all of a sudden, as you say, Lisa, like you can put it on your head, or you can touch it, or you can feel it, or you can see it right in front of you. It's a completely different experience. And I think that this is why exhibitions are so important, actually, because I think it gives people that hands-on opportunity to actually get to grips with the thing, you know. I also think that there's that whole thing about quite often you don't know that you've got a problem. You don't know you've got a problem. So you're not looking for a solution to it. But then you go to a show like this and you show someone saying, well, actually, if you've got this problem, we've got this solution. And you go, oh, actually, I do have that problem. So I think that's the other thing. It means that you actually have time with, you know, other suppliers, manufacturers, who you maybe wouldn't have engaged with otherwise because you just hadn't really acknowledged that that was something that you needed a solution to. And I think that's what's so good about these events. It really broadens people's horizons as to what's available out there.
That definitely, I mean, it's an extension of what we do on a daily basis. You know, on a daily basis, we're engaging with businesses in the Northeast. And I sent an inquiry out this morning, thinking that I couldn't really think of a business who could deliver it. But I've had so many responses from businesses we engage with saying, well, we don't necessarily do it, but here's a company that may. And I think that's one of the nice things that we extend into our EMCON show, which is, I think you said it well before, you know, look, websites are quite one-dimensional. They're great, but they're only as good as the information that you put up there. And invariably, businesses don't showcase everything that they do. However, if you're walking around and if you see someone who maybe does something sort of similar, you're looking at, as you said, for maybe something different, you think, I'll have a word with them. You have a conversation, all of a sudden, you've got an answer. Now, a pop-up banner with a list of services on, or a fancy VR or, you know, whatever headset isn't going to tell you that. It's that engagement with people. People buy from people and you learn from people. And I've never ceased to be amazed at what the businesses that we engage with do, but also what they do that they don't tell you about. And it's not until you have that engagement that you realize quite how far some of these businesses' services go.
Oh, I will completely agree. And actually, one of the bits of the DBOP Engineering and Manufacturing Programme, which is the incubator zone, one of the really nice things that we're doing for that this year is the month before the event, we're actually getting everyone together for a half day to do like event planning. So not only are people going to get to know each other and network together, but they're actually going to really think about, okay, so this is my product or service, this is my thing. How can I actually showcase that absolutely in the best possible way, like on my stand, and how can I make the very best use of, you know, my space and my product actually, because I think that it is really easy to put the pop-up banner and, as you said before, to sit behind the thing and play on your phone, or the alternative, my favorite one is the Undertaker pose, you know, people stand with the hands in front and they go like this. I think it's Undertaker pose, you know, so, and it's really easy to do that because it, you know, if you've not done this stuff before, it can be a little bit challenging. But I think what's nice about what we're doing with the incubator zone is we're going to make sure that everyone's got like loads of stuff that they can be doing and getting people involved in to make it dead easy to engage with people. And that's what makes it fun. Are you going to come to that day, Lisa? Are you going to come along just for kicks and giggles?
Well, I'll be there all day. I'll come along to the event. Yeah, that's fine. I will be there meeting the businesses, and yes, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Oh, it will be. So it's going to be a really good one this year. So I can just see as well, because we have actually got some people watching. We've got a lot of people who haven't said hello today. It's all right. We love you anyway. So even though you haven't said hello, we still think you're special. And Chris has actually just come on. Let me just pop his comment in there. So Chris is saying websites being one-dimensional, the automated website bots attempting to make it two-dimensional, yet rightly so exhibiting, allowing demonstration, hands-on products and face-to-face discussion is certainly delivering the pinnacle of dimensions. Wow, Chris, you're giving me a mouthful here. Interesting discussion. Great stuff. Yeah.
It's all right, because at the end of the day, and as well, you typically with websites, and we're the same, you dump your stuff that you want on a website to someone else to populate it, because typically, you know, we certainly don't have the skills to be able to do that internally, and not to the same degree as a professional. But it's only as good as the information that you give them to put out there. And and frankly, where do you use websites? Well, I know people, you know, we do a lot of buying on websites now as consumers, but typically we just use them for information, generally after we've already or at least heard of the business, and then we'll have a little bit look at what they do. But how varied that delivery can be to that page, or even the most interactive website. I used to work for a huge PLC, and we had a monstrous website that was so verbose you couldn't even find yourself on it, even though you're on there and you worked in the business. And I think that it's just finding a way of getting that personal interaction back. Look, we all like the ease of online stuff. We do. It's great to be able to order something online, have it delivered to your door, whatever. But it's also lovely to be able to go have a conversation. And it's that conversation that leads to opportunities, we find. And also, it gives you a barometer on the marketplace as well. You're having a conversation with someone, you learn how they're doing, how their business is doing. You can have the same conversation. And frequently, you'll find a synergy that a load of information simply placed that doesn't have any form of direct intelligence behind it. Not that the people who wrote it weren't intelligent, but that there's no true interaction and conversation there. It just leads to better results.
I think the other thing is as well, I quite often think this is the difference between knowledge and understanding. I mean, you can Google anything, you can get an answer for anything, but do you understand it? What does that really mean for you? And I think that this is the difference. A website can give you lots of knowledge and information, but is that really going to give you the understanding of exactly how that's going to impact you and your business? So that's a great point, Chris. I'm pleased you're enjoying. Thanks for joining us. And you should definitely have a conversation with me, because you should be in the incubator zone this year. We've talked about this, me and you. You should be in the show. Anyhow. All right. So there's loads of stuff that we've talked about there. One of the things that you've had to make a decision on this year as well, which I did want to touch on, was obviously with the pandemic, you have had to flex your approach. And that's meant that for this year, you've kept that interaction and that one-to-one element and that one-to-many element by keeping it as an event later in the year. But I know that last year you actually did an online event. How did you find that worked for you? Because that must have been quite a difference. And I know it wasn't a show as such. It was more of a conference. So how did that work?
Yeah, so when we couldn't deliver the show last year, we stripped out that conference room element of it and delivered it online. It was delivered live. We learned an awful lot. I learned an awful lot. I learned that I can't let stuff go. That I'll probably meddle more than I support. There was comments made about getting me a director's chair by the end of the day. Even though that wasn't my role, we employed a business to actually do that for us. But no, I think what was interesting, the lack of interaction is a struggle, because you're not bouncing. When you stand up and talk, you're typically bouncing things off people. So you just get expressions that can lead you, if you're having a conversational piece, if it's an interview, or if it's, what would define as a speech or a talk or whatever, you still bounce off your audience to a degree. Obviously, there wasn't the opportunity to do that, although we did do interviews which allowed that. But I mean, it was great. I can't remember, 230, 240 people engaged with that. It was a 2-hour seminar with 5 or 6 different sort of sets, if you like, of speakers. But we just felt last year that we wanted to do something. We didn't want to let the date go by, but obviously we wanted to do it in a controlled way. This year, we delayed the show until where we hope we are, which is a good couple of months clear of Boris's final date in June. That allows us to build a little bit of confidence. By that I mean personally here, about going back out, opening that scary front door and stepping out into the right world, behind in the business world, which, we respect that. There's a lot of people understandably suffering with mental health issues, perhaps, that you would never have typically thought of before. And that's been almost due to this locked in the house sort of scenario that we found ourselves in. But we're going to deliver it in such a way that, we will absolutely follow government guidelines and surpass those. We're looking at putting certain controls in place. We don't want to lose the feel of the show at all. The interaction, the friendliness of it, but we're just going to look at some simple measures that we can put in place. If all things are equal and everything's relatively back to normal by then, that just give people the confidence. If someone wants to turn up in a mask, we don't want them to feel like they shouldn't. you know, and we respect that, and that's the way that we'll run it. We've pushed the boundaries out a little bit, created a little bit more space where we can, and hopefully that'll just build a bit of confidence again. Because EMCON last year, great. So put an F on the end of the EMCON for the conference element. Online, fantastic. Would we do it again if we had to? But for us, put bums on seats. That's how we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it must have been a big change for you as well, Lisa, because of course you're normally out and about working with businesses in Durham, aren't you? So, I mean, you've seen a big shift. How have you seen people reacting to getting back to like almost like normal business, day-to-day, face-to-face stuff?
Yeah, I think businesses are now desperate to, you know, to re-engage and to find out what's out there. I've been working from home for over a year now, which has gone well. You know, I'm busier than ever, signposting businesses and, you know, looking to support. But I want to be out and about there. I'm a hands-on person. I like to go to a business and see what that business does and get an understanding of it, so I can look at the opportunities that are there for that business. And you don't get that when you're just talking to somebody on a phone or you're just having a chat with them. I like to, you know, get in there and see what I can do. So yeah, I think businesses are, you know, welcoming us back just as soon as they can. And, you know, and desperate, like Ben said earlier, to be part of something, and just to get out there and to be, you know, talking to people again instead of looking at a screen all of the time or talking on the telephone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And I think the great thing is, obviously, we've talked a little bit about DBOP in it and how it interacts with the EMCON, with the incubator zone and all the support and funding available there. So we've touched on that. But actually, DBOP has got a lot of other offerings that you can take out into the community and into other businesses, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, I look after Business Network that was set up from scratch. So that's Bishop Auckland and Shildon Business Network. We've got other business networks that we, you know, look after. There's so much out there and just so many different businesses that we're connecting with and looking at the opportunities. And there's always new grant programs coming along and, you know, support programs being extended. And yeah, you know, we're not just DBOP, we're a conduit in Durham County Council as well, and you know, and building on those relationships and just continuing with them. So yeah, come to DBOP. If you need any support, you know, starting your business, growing your business, looking for grant support, looking for funding, you know, employment, the whole lot. Pop and see us, and you know, by whichever way, and we'll be able to help and support you. So yeah, that's the whole point of DBOP, just engaging with businesses who haven't typically engaged and, you know, taken our business support, because there's the business support there, it's out there for them. You know, and if we don't know about it, well then, you know, we'll find out. We'll find somebody who knows all the ins and outs of it. But yeah, DBOP is the place to go.
And any business here sort of thinking, you know, they're in the Northeast and they'd like support, even if they're not in the Durham area, they can always connect with you. And I know that you guys are great at signposts, and if it's something that you guys can't help with, quite often you can signpost to other areas as well. So we'll need to connect there, and Ben equally will tag you in the post as well, because at the moment Kay is. So if people want to connect to find out more about either EMCON directly or the Engineering and Manufacturing Network, we'll make sure people can get in touch with you there. So yeah, I think it's brilliant to see the amount of support that's out there at the moment, and it's really exciting how well things are going with the show. I'm really excited to be part of this year, and especially having attended in the past, it's going to be great to be working with the incubator zone and making sure that they turn that day into cash. That's the way I like to think about it, because I think that, you know, it's a great experience. You can have some brilliant conversations, but one of the great things is that we all know it's ultimately you want to turn those connections into a return for your business, and that's really where I'm going to be helping, making sure that the businesses in that area have the plan in place to do that. So I'm really excited that that's going to be something that we're going to be able to do.
I'll give you a very brief example on that. Very brief, I promise. Incubator zone, a couple of years ago, I'm wandering around doing my ambassador bit, and I was talking to a few of the businesses and just trying to let them see exactly what you just said about the importance of following up on those leads, having a strategy in place. And I know that you help them with all that. And I said, because look, at the end of the day, you're not going to sell anything today. It's about getting your brand out there. And he says, well, I'll just stop you there. And he pointed to this big roller banner stand behind him, and it had a load of ancillary equipment on. He said, do you see that one there? And he pointed to a piece of equipment. I went, yeah. He says, well, he says, someone walked past before and said, oh, do you sell them? Went, yeah. He says, I'll have one. He bought it then and there. So I'm very happy to be proven wrong as well. Very happy to be proven wrong.
Hey, I mean, you know what? It's always that thing, isn't it? And I mean, you know, there's always the one that like breaks the rule that sort of proves it out. But I think there is that point where people are like, literally, oh, I've been looking for one of those. Didn't know. I've always needed a digger that looks just like that, you know. Oh my goodness. Oh, this has been so fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on to talk a little bit about this. We've actually had some great people coming in and joining us, because I can see on the numbers there. So for everyone who's joined us live, thank you so much for coming along. Lisa and Ben, you've been amazing. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with you on the DBOP. It always makes me think of the dance of that.
I know it does.
Do the DBOP
dance.
Yes. The DBOP Engineering and Manufacturing Programme. So we'll put the links for all of that and for the Engineering Manufacturing Network and to contact DBOP in the comments. So if you've been watching this, if you scroll down the comments, we'll add that at the bottom. So thanks so much for joining us today. It's been great to hear from you.
Thanks, Victoria. It's been great.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that was amazing. I am really excited about EMCON this year. I will absolutely be attending on the 9th of September. So make sure that if you are looking for a great exhibition to meet some brilliant Northeast businesses and beyond, then you need to put that day in your diary as a minimum to come and visit. But more excitingly, if you would like to be part of that event, then there are two ways that you can get involved. One is that you can talk to Kay or Ben about getting involved in the main hall. Now, you're going to need to do that quickly because, as Ben just said, and I know from Kay, those spots are filling up really quickly. The other opportunity open to you is with DBOP, which is a fantastic opportunity for a wraparound program, which is going to offer you some sales support, some prep on your actual event stand, some marketing materials, a stand in that all-important incubator zone, and even some follow-up help to ensure that you've got the most out of your leads. And you can speak to either myself or Lisa about that. We're really excited about some of the businesses we've got involved, and I know it'd be great if you were one of them. So let us know if that is of interest to you, especially if you're in the Durham area. But to be honest with you, get in touch with us anyway, because there are a few outlying areas that we might be able to help you with. Thank you so much for joining us today. And this has been the Sales Step Up. We will be back next week. I think we're here next Thursday. I think it's 2 o'clock. There will be an advert out on LinkedIn where we are talking all about selling technology. We're going to be talking hardware, software, whatever it might be. How the heck do you sell that stuff? So make sure to click on my profile for a reminder next time that I go live. In the meantime, thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.